We're here this morning to honor the life of Tito Alex, as he's affectionately known by so many of the Filipino youth. But fair to say that Tito, or uncle, is not just an endearing term, but one that is truly fitting of the caring, loving uncle that Alex was, not only to those in Markham, but well beyond our community. I thank you for this honor this morning. I had a special relationship with Alex. He and I joined Markham Council at the same time in 1985. I have to say that over the years, that relationship took many forms. Perhaps at times it felt like he was an uncle, but most often he was a trusted advisor. But I have to admit that in the last few years, I think Alex thought more of himself as my supervisor. But I, like most who got to work with Alex, always thought of him as a friend. He was inspirational, he was hardworking, and one of the most unassuming politicians, well, in fact, individuals I've ever met. Just before the campaign got formally started back in 1985, I actually interviewed Alex as a local reporter for Classicom Cable 10. And fair to say that the interview took a couple of takes. I didn't think I was asking a particularly tough question. Why are you running for Markham Council? It was a softball question. But I think Alex was a little nervous. He'd start off answering the question, and about a sentence into it, he'd look at me, start laughing, and grab his waist at the same time. This went on for a few minutes until he managed to get an answer that we could use. Even back then, I liked Alex, but I thought, how is this guy ever going to survive in politics? Little did I know that Alex's strength was not his mouth, it was his heart. His love for people, and his passion to get things done. He was a man of few words, that's true. But more importantly, he was a man of extraordinary action. For 33 years, his presence, his impact was felt on Markham Council, in our community, and beyond. Born in Candaba, Philippines, the Philippine people and the Filipino culture were near and dear to Alex. He was the patron of the annual Philippines Independence Day celebration at the Markham Civic Center. He helped establish the Center for the Markham Federation of Filipino Canadians, a vibrant cultural center. He also raised money for the statue honoring Dr. Jose Rizal, located in Box Grove. And in an incredible gesture of generosity and love of country, Alex's fundraising efforts led to the creation of a housing complex in the Philippines for destitute, homeless families, named Markham Village in honor of his efforts. It also underscored Alex's love of family, because the street names were in honor of Alex and Alicia's parents. Markham CAO Andy Taylor and I witnessed the dedication, and it was heartwarming to be there with Alex, Alicia, Sherry, and Christopher cutting a ribbon on a most meaningful occasion in that corner of the world. Alex's love of country also included his new home, Canada. He co-chaired Markham's Canada Day celebrations for many years and absolutely relished in the joy of the day. From the new Canadians taking their oath of citizenship, to seniors enjoying a complimentary thank you lunch, to the shrieks from the kids at Mill Park, right to the end, watching in awe the fireworks display. But his love of Canada went beyond just celebration. Alex Chiu was a community builder. For over 20 years, his golf tournament raised money for countless community organizations, including all three York Region Hospital Foundations, the Markham YMCA, Power Unit Youth Organization, and Center for Immigration and Community Services. As hard as Alex worked, he was a kid at heart. He enjoyed having fun and sharing a laugh. In some respects, he had a vocation for youth. He wanted to make sure that kids in Markham had a great life. He raised money for a mobile firehouse so the Markham Fire and Emergency Services could teach young kids about fire safety. The York Regional Police Community Safety Village so kids could also learn about overall safety. As co-chair of the annual Markham Theatre Gala, he raised thousands of dollars for the Discovery Program, giving kids their first opportunity to experience live theater. And in fact, it was a major initiative centered around kids that Alex focused on when he was first elected to Markham Council. The push to get the Milliken Mills Community Center built. Now, he said it was for the kids, but I can tell you, as an avid swimmer, Alex used the pool too. In fact, he was the first person to jump in the pool. And eventually he hosted Alex's Swim, consisting of 100 laps nonstop each day for 1 week, all in support of the Markham United Way campaign. And in 2019, as a recognition of Alex's outstanding public service, we did two things. We dedicated the pool at the Milliken Mills Community Center in his name. And at that very same ceremony, we presented Alex with his own City of Markham Speedo. Both were long overdue. When it came to kids, there were two that definitely stood above all the rest, Sherry and Christopher. In the midst of all that he did for his community, it's hard to believe, but he was as dedicated and more to them. Alex had an incredible pride for his kids. Again, not so much in words, but in what he did for them, and his wonderful smile that you couldn't miss when they were the topic of discussion. I will never forget the look of pride when Sherry was presented in that wonderful Filipino tradition at your 18th birthday debut. Or as he talked about your academic accomplishments. That father's pride was pretty evident the day we officially opened Christopher's photography and video business. It wasn't just the fact that Chris was in business, but he valued just how talented Chris was in his craft. But even someone like Alex, who enjoyed life so much, life can take its toll. Again, when you have a man of a few words, it's tough to measure, but no doubt, when your family lost Chris to ALS, it took a toll on Alex. And in true form, it wasn't about words, but action that underscored his love for Christopher. He put his efforts into raising money for ALS Double Play, continuing Christopher's legacy through ALS research. Always giving back to his family, to his church, to his community, to the global village. In a timely statement, York University recently announced Community Involvement Award. This entrance award will be given to a Markham High School student who demonstrates outstanding community involvement. Alex was told about the award just a few days before he passed away. York's press release said that it was the first student award established at the future Markham Center campus. And they also reassured students that they didn't have to come close to Alex's involvement to be eligible. Alex Chiu was a fixture in Ward 8, which originally included all of Milliken Mills. And even after the ward was split up, Alex would still help former constituents. His dedication to his community went beyond the call of duty. And in many respects, Alex Chiu was the mayor of Milliken Mills. Maybe not by an official vote count, but certainly by winning the hearts of many in his community. As the longest serving member of council, Alex's commitment helped transform Markham into the thriving city it is today. In fact, it was Alex Chiu for years who championed the change in designation from the town to the city of Markham, which actually happened in 2012. How fitting it was to have the city of Markham flag draped over his coffin as it entered the church today. That flag flew at half-mast at the Markham Civic Center in Alex's honor. It's fair to say that Alex had three homes: his house on Highgate, the Markham Civic Center, and St. Thomas the Apostle Church. Now, Alicia would say, not necessarily in that order. And I have to say, Alicia, we got a real deal when Alex was elected. You and him made a great team in serving our community. The fact is that it's hard to believe for all of us that Alex has been called home. And all of his earthly homes will be different without him, without his smile, without his laugh, but most of all, without his actions that got things done. Tito, uncle, friend, counselor, I now know the answer. I now know the answer to the question I posed to you many years ago. Why are you running for Markham Council? It took a while to get the answer, at least the complete answer, because your actions spoke volumes more than any words you may or may not have said. Your actions told us who you were, what you were all about. Your actions told us what was important to you and how you got things done. Our community, our world is the better for it. Rest in peace, Alex.